Right now at 5, we take a look at storm damage that hit Oklahoma.
And we've got ourselves another hot day across the 4 states and sunny skies once again. We'll take a look at that forecast coming up.
And the investigation continues after Kansas lawmakers received threatening letters with an unknown white powder in them.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's 5 a.m. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's another mild evening that we had for us, and we've got another hot day in store for us as well across the area. And we talked about specifically Delaware County yesterday had that heat advisory. And again, that wasn't necessarily for it being too terribly hot, but because there's still so many folks in northeast Oklahoma without power and working outside. And that heat advisory returns again today. So we can show you that real quick on the Skywatch Storm Tracker, where that heat advisory is for Delaware County. And there you can see it. It kicks in officially at 1 o'clock today and runs through 9 again. So just a reminder, it's for those, without power and those that are still doing outdoor recovery work. You need to take it easy and make sure you're staying hydrated. And in all honesty, though, that applies to everybody in our area that may be involved in cleaning up from Sunday morning storms, because it's going to be a hot one across the region today. All right, MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line. We're looking good. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and Range Line, looks good as well. Got clear skies out there. Look at this. It's almost 70 degrees here at 5 a.m. Dew point's up there at 63, humidity 81%. And that's really, again, what the heat advisory is for, is it's just going to be humid enough that it's just going to feel miserable, and without air conditioning or cool places to go, especially northeast Oklahoma, makes it a little more dangerous to be in the heat. So do take precautions if you're outside today, doing anything really. Look at this, 71 Chanute in Neodesha, 70 Parsons Chitopa, 71 in Miami, 69 Neosho Carthage, and 66 up in Nevada right now. So we get our morning started. It's going to be pretty toasty pretty quick. Sunny skies, warm mid-80s by late morning, and we've got highs today once again upper 80s. We're looking at a few more of those lower 90-degree readings across the area as we stay sunny, and we head into this evening and we stay clear through the evening and mild. 84 by 8, 90 still by 6, 74 at 10. Overnight lows once again close to that 70-degree mark. And as we look down the road tomorrow, the first official day of summer, 91 again. We're looking at partly cloudy skies through our Wednesday, and we've got the little shower chance. It's still there. What we mentioned yesterday for Elk and Chautauqua County really is about the cutoff point, but there's that chance of a stray shower or two out there. The rest of us will remain dry, but at least we'll get a little more cloud cover to help out there if you're still doing any cleanup work. Low 90s all the way into the weekend. Still got those scattered thunderstorm chances Saturday and Sunday, and then as we kick into next week, still low 90s, mid 90s out there, and maybe some additional thunderstorm chances as we head into the middle of next week. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Grove, Oklahoma is cleaning up from weekend storm damage. This is just south of Grove near Sailboat Bridge and Grand Lake Baptist Church. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning there late Saturday night, but there were no reports of any touching down. However, the strong winds brought down lots of trees and power lines. Hundreds of residents were without power for much of the day, with some still reporting outages. Northeast Oklahoma Electric Cooperative says efforts to fully restore power could extend into the week. More than 144,000 people across Tulsa County, Oklahoma, yesterday woke up without power after a devastating weekend storm left behind a trail of damage. According to the Public Service Company of Oklahoma, this has been its largest response since the 2007 ice storm. That storm brought down trees and power lines across the city. Kansas Bureau of Investigations is trying to find out who sent several Kansas state lawmakers and other public officials mail with a suspicious white powder. KBI says over 100 letters containing the powder have been reported. Rebecca Gannon spoke with a state senator who says she received one of the letters.
Kansas legislators that are Republicans are being targeted.
Senator Molly Baumgardner received this letter.
There is some message. The message is somewhat unclear, but it was intended to be threatening.
The message reads, in part, "It is important not to choke on your ambition," and it's signed, "Your Secret Despirer." Included in this letter was a white powder. Roughly 30 Kansas lawmakers around the state received something similar. All of them so far have been Republicans. And now the Kansas Bureau of Investigations has to respond to each one.
We're using our finest resources and it's being squandered because someone or a group of people are very deliberately trying to make a point.
And check out the return address.
Whoever sent this, spent the time to look up addresses. It now appears that return addresses aren't for actual individuals, but they are actually addresses for churches.
So now, every one of the 165 lawmakers in Kansas are on alert.
Everybody has to be concerned. Everyone has to take this and any subsequent threats like this very seriously.
The Kansas Bureau of Investigation sent out an update saying the powder does not contain any concerning, quote, biological agents. A car and a U-Haul collide near the Oklahoma state line in Joplin. The crash took place Monday night around 8:40. Authorities say a passenger car and a U-Haul, both traveling east on I-44, collided. The U-Haul crashed into the median and the passenger car overturned in the right side ditch. No one required medical transport to a hospital. Authorities respond to reports of a two-vehicle crash along I-44 early Monday morning. The crash took place in Jasper County near the Lawrence County line. Authorities say a passenger car struck the rear of a pickup truck, and the two became hooked together and could not be separated. And both of the drivers were transported to an area hospital suffering non-life-threatening injuries. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, former Kansas Jayhawks coach is headed up to the University of Washington in Seattle. Plus, an Alaska man plans to help tackle the homeless population issue in a different way, and why doctors are being encouraged to look beyond BMI. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back.
The Joplin Outlaws are in action on the road after the team got off to a 5-0 start. The Outlaws have lost 8 of their last 9 games. Now, the Outlaws in the Missouri state capital, Jefferson City, taking on the Renegades. Outlaws got off to an early lead, 4-1 in the game, but ended up trailing Jeff City 7-4 in the 8th. And Joplin did not make a comeback and lost the game 10-4. Well, it's day 4 of the College World Series. Things are starting to heat up in Omaha as we get closer to crowning a champion. First game of the day, the Tennessee Volunteers versus the Stanford Cardinal. Stanford was up 4-0 at one point, and Tennessee storms all the way back as they defeat Stanford 6-4. Stanford has now been eliminated from the College World Series for their 3rd straight season. In the nightcap, it's number 1 overall seed Wake Forest Demon Deacons taking on the LSU Tigers. Wake Forest comes out victorious in this one, beating LSU 3-2. So now LSU will play Tennessee in an elimination game. Wake Forest is 1 win away from moving on to the College World Series Finals. And last but not least, some of you might remember former Kansas Jayhawks head basketball coach Larry Brown. Coach Brown has agreed to join the staff at the University of Washington in Seattle. Brown won an NCAA title with Kansas in 1988. The Hall of Fame head coach was recently an assistant coach at the University of Memphis for a couple of seasons. Brown, who is 82 years old, will be entering his 59th year of coaching basketball at the collegiate or pro level. Still to come, the city of Rome is set to open an ancient square where a famous leader of Rome was assassinated. And we got another check of that toasty forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 5:14 on this Tuesday morning. We do want to remind folks, especially in Delaware County, we still have this heat advisory. It goes back into effect at 1 o'clock today, runs through 9. And again, this isn't necessarily for oppressive heat like we usually see these for. It's simply because it's going to be hot enough today and humid enough today that folks without power or those doing outdoor recovery work, it's going to be hard for you to find a place to cool off. So do make sure you're taking precautions and staying hydrated out there. We are looking at the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. We are looking at clear skies out there as well, and same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, of course, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and Range Line, starting to get a little light out there, but we've got clear skies Warm though, mild at least to say. 69 out there, 63 dew point, 81% humidity. And we're going to stay again a little bit on the humid side, not oppressively humid, but humid through the day. That's going to make it hot here. So even though many of us have recovered power in most of the 4 states that were impacted by these storms, it's still going to be hot outside. So if you're still doing cleanup, make sure you're taking precautions, staying hydrated. You got mild temperatures this morning. Look at this, 71 Neodesha, Chanute, 70 Parsons, Chitopa, another 71 in Miami. A little cooler up north, 66 Nevada, 67 Fort Scott, and 65 in Iola. As we get our morning started, a repeat of yesterday, just warmer by a little bit. We're going to see those sunny skies, no fog this morning, at least not as of yet, and we'll go to near the mid-80s by 11 a.m., if that gives you any idea of how warm it's going to be. Sunny skies through the afternoon today, maybe a stray cloud or two, otherwise pretty clear skies and hot, low 90s for most of us for our highs today. We go through the evening, look at this, 90 by 6, 84 at 8, 74 at 10, so still quite mild, and overnight lows pushing right around 70 again tonight under clear skies. So the only chance of rain we really have, at least in the short term, is going to be tomorrow afternoon for about Elk and Chautauqua County, maybe Washington County in northeastern Oklahoma, and that's going to be it. And this is a pretty low chance of a stray shower or two. The rest of us stay dry, but tomorrow does bring us at least a few more clouds to kind of block some of that heat from the sun. Not much, but it'll help a little. It won't be until this weekend that we'll see another decent chance of a few more scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into Saturday morning, through the day on Saturday, and then again into Sunday as well. So hopefully we can get some of that rain. We definitely need more. We don't need any severe weather, but we need that rain. So we've thrown up a 10% chance for some showers again, maybe mainly Elk and Chautauqua counties. Still otherwise partly to mostly cloudy skies, low 90s. First day of summer as well, by the way, is tomorrow. We'll continue to have those partly to mostly cloudy skies, low 90s into the weekend and the start of next week. And we've got those scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into this weekend. Well, businesses in Anchorage, Alaska say they're being challenged by a growing number of homeless people. In response, some businesses have added security or extra cleaning crews, but one longtime business owner is taking a slightly different approach. As Lauren Maxwell reports, he's getting to know them.
It's not uncommon to find leftover alcohol bottles, unfortunately.
Store manager Lisa Ludwig usually does the morning cleanup rounds, including spots that serve as a bathroom
I've only had 2 people sleeping in here regularly.
or a bed. The company has tried different things with mixed success.
We also put in all of these large rocks just to make it a little more uncomfortable. One of the other things that we do is I put up a black trash bag on this end over there, and a lot of times, some of them will use it, even if it picks up 50% of the trash. Even 25%, that's 25% I don't have to pick up.
But recently, co-owner Kenny Peterson decided it was time for a new approach. Instead of trying to run off the homeless people who frequent the area, he decided to get to know them instead.
This is my view of how to do things. Instead of sending them away, that we meet their needs where they are, and because if not, they're going to go to someone else's street corner or somewhere else.
At least once a week, Peterson crosses the street with a goal of building relationships with the people on the corner.
Hey you, how are you?
There's Eugene, originally from Chivac.
A lot of people come by here to help you out though, don't they?
Well, they do. They stop by right here and they give us.
He tells Peterson he's been working on keeping things clean.
We might need even like trash bags around here.
You need some more trash bags?
Keep it clean.
We can get you more trash bags. Are you feeling okay?
Peterson wants to know their stories.
How old are you?
70 right now.
70, huh?
Yeah.
And their needs.
I got granola bars and breakfast drinks.
He truly wants to help, but there's also this. Peterson says by showing respect to people on the corner, he's hopeful they'll respect his business as well.
He knows that we're across the way, and so he kind of keeps an eye out for us, and we kind of keep an eye out for him. So if nothing else, we just have a new relationship we didn't have before.
Certainly a unique approach. Well, Peterson is hoping other people and businesses will join him in essentially adopting street corners and taking care of the people who stay there. He's hoping they can form a network of resources aimed at helping people eventually get off the streets. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. How would you help the homeless population? Donating items, giving them a job? giving them job opportunities, raising money, advocate for them, work at a shelter, educate them, or educate others rather, or maybe something else. Well, we want to hear from you. Make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Topping Health Watch this morning, new research appears to debunk the popular belief that heavy drinkers can hold their liquor. According to the study, people with alcohol use disorder, what used to be called alcoholism, were significantly impaired up to 3 hours after downing several drinks. Researchers tested various types of drinkers with a beverage equivalent to 4 to 5 drinks. At first, the study supported the notion that heavy drinkers can manage their alcohol without impairment, but they still had trouble with their motor function. Most doctors in the U.S. screen for obesity by using a measure called body mass index, or BMI. BMI over 25 is overweight, and a BMI of 30 or above is considered obese. Recently, there's been a shift away from BMI as the only measure of individual health risk. Last week, the American Medical Association adopted a new policy on the body mass index. It acknowledges significant limitations, such as BMI doesn't differentiate between lean and fat body mass, and it doesn't account for differences between racial and ethnic groups, gender, and age. Well, a new poll suggests parents should take children's stomach pain more seriously. The poll found 1 in 6 parents say their child complains of tummy aches at least once a month. And while 1 in 3 parents surveyed are confident they can identify whether the belly pain is serious, parents do not always seek professional advice when these complaints become regular. The poll found 2 in 5 parents who report monthly belly pain for their child have not discussed the issue with a pediatrician. An organization in Oklahoma is offering fathers a helping hand in the form of someone who can help care for their mental health. Alex Cash has more on this group and how they are helping the community.
Leon Skillins is from Skills on Wheels and says dads suffer from mental health problems, but often in silence.
Anxiety, depression, stress, just not being able to be adequate as a father.
Skills on Wheels is a non-profit offering therapy sessions to people in North Tulsa who can't access resources. They have a mobile mental health unit in an RV, and they're trying to help dads in North Tulsa who might be struggling with mental health issues.
We want to target that dad, that 8 to 5 dad, that working dad, the dad who doesn't look as if he has those issues, but he really does. Mental health is a big issue amongst men these days, and what's happening is studies are saying and research is really telling us that when men are down or their mentals are down, it affects everybody in the house.
The National Institutes of Health carried out a study in 2019 and found men are significantly less likely to seek help for mental health issues. Skillins says that can be down to pride. He says he's trying to change that.
We are struggling to tap into our inner spirits. We want to look at just the outside. We want to go to the gym. We want to feed ourselves the protein, the creatine, but we don't want to take care of the inside, the heart, the brain, the mind, body, and spirit. So those things are vitally important for me in this day and time, especially post-pandemic.
Skillins has launched a new program called Sewing into Fathers, hoping to help North Tulsa dads.
And we want to just pat them on the back and be an ear for them to vent to, a shoulder for them to lean on. And we just want to pat them on the back and say, hey, we're here for you. There is hope that you can be a strong father so that you can create a strong family for you and yours, and to leave a legacy that's not about negativity that's attached to gang violence or street violence or drugs.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another hot day across the 4 states. Plentiful sunshine out there. We'll talk about some potential rain chances and what the rest of the week looks like coming up.
Right now at 5:30, yesterday was Juneteenth, and we take a look at a celebration that took place in Parsons.
We were hot and dry yesterday. Well, it's hot and dry again today. Tomorrow, official first day of summer, but already feeling like it's here. We'll look at that forecast coming up.
And Parsons wasn't the only place celebrating Juneteenth. Joplin also had its own celebration going on.
The 4 states most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It's now 5:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So it's a bit of a more mild start for us today. Yesterday, by the way, our temperatures by the noon hour were about 15, 20 degrees warmer than they were on Sunday. And it is going to continue to stay hot. Official first day of summer is tomorrow, and it's already feeling like it out there. So let's take a look. We do have that heat advisory once again this afternoon, officially kicking in at 1 o'clock, running through 9 for Delaware County. And again, from the National Weather Service in Tulsa, their specific wording on this is it's not necessarily oppressive heat like we usually see these for. It's simply because there's still so many folks without power in northeast Oklahoma that you're not going to be able to cool off like you usually could on a hot summer day. So those that don't have power or are doing cleanup work need to make sure they're taking extra precautions, staying hydrated. And that's true for the rest of the area. Now, most of us, in our part of the 4 states, power is here, power is back, but if you're still doing cleanup, make sure you stay hydrated and take precautions outside. It's still going to be hot. MoDOT camera, 20th and Range line, looks great. Same from the KDOT camera at 69 and 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and Range line, showing those clear skies and a bit milder than yesterday. We're sitting at 69. Yesterday, we were sitting about 62, 63 at this time. Dew point, humidity, both up there. And again, like yesterday, not going to be oppressive, but it's still going to be a little bit on the muggy side out there, making it feel a pinch hotter. A little cooler to the north, 66 Nevada, Fort Scott, 65 in Iola. And then we look at this, we get 71s in Neodesha, Chanute, 70 in Parsons, and it's dropped back a bit in Miami and Chatopa, down to 69 and 69 in Neosho. As we get our morning started, again, we hold on to those sunny skies and we warm up quickly today. We're looking at the mid 80s by 11 this morning, and highs today, some upper 80s out there, but the majority of us starting to peak into those low 90s as we go into the afternoon. So it is going to be toasty, and it's going to stay warm as we head into the evening as well. Look at this, 90 at 6, 84 at 8, 74 by 10. Overnight lows under clear skies once again pushing right around 70 degrees. We continue to stay warm. Again, a stray shower or two possible Elk, Chautauqua County tomorrow afternoon. The rest of us partly to mostly cloudy, low 90s for the first day of summer. Low 90s heading into the weekend, and then we've got some additional scattered thunderstorm chances as we head into this weekend as well. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. While none of us can prevent severe weather, we can take steps to not only protect our family, but to protect our homes from wind and hail damage. Joe Hickman talked with an expert on what you can consider.
When we're looking at protecting your home from things like wind and hail, a lot of those materials are also going to be the things that help you with energy efficiency. So you want to talk to whatever contractor that you're using about things like windows, your doors, your garage doors, your roof, your gutters, things like that.
But when it comes to your structure surviving a major high wind event, your windows and roof are the key areas to consider upgrading,
because those are the areas that are going to impact the rest of your house. Those windows, if they're really low grade, that gives access to wind. A lot of times it also gives access to water. Same thing on your roof. If you're missing shingles, or if you have like major problems with your roof, you're introducing water into your home there also. What you really want to think about is the type of shingle that you have for one. Different shingles are going to be able to withstand different types of wind and different types of hail. You may not need to go all the way to the most expensive, but make sure that you're looking at that storm grade, because the higher the rating on that, the more likely it's going to be okay the next time you get hit by a storm. Another option that we have in this area is metal for roofing. That's really going to withstand any of the storms. Some insurance companies actually offer discounts if you upgrade to that metal side.
Looking at wind-rated garage doors can also help, since high winds can push through them and cause structural damage to the entire home. And you also should trim trees that might be a danger during high winds.
Is it close to your utilities that are behind you? Where's it going to fall? Is it going to land on your home?
When it comes to hail protection, using steel gutters and downspouts instead of aluminum or vinyl is preferable. And it's also a good idea to install protective screens around your home's air conditioning unit.
Honestly, it also helps from the theft side. If you're protecting your assets there, then somebody can't steal it, which then sometimes ends up replacing a whole unit.
And if your house is damaged during a major weather event, make sure you're careful when getting bids and hiring contractors.
It is important to be aware that there are companies that will travel in only because there was a storm. So if you are going to hire somebody that knocked on your door, you need to do your research. Make sure that you're talking to somebody that's going to be there for you if something happens.
4-staters rally to support one another as the nation celebrates Juneteenth, marking the day all Americans became aware that slavery had ended. On Monday, a community in Parsons, Kansas rallied together to walk and demonstrate unity. For the celebration, organizer Satanya Jack Johnson, the unity shown is an integral part of bringing awareness and action to issues that still face people every day.
I just believe that if we can't have a community if there's no unity in it. So I just feel like it's very important that we come together and connect and make things work for the best of all of us. It's not just about black community, it's about all the community.
Johnson partnered with Moms Demand Action, an organization committed to ending gun violence in the U.S. For information, you can follow both the Parsons Juneteenth and Moms Demand Action organizations on Facebook. And a Juneteenth celebration also took place in Joplin's Ewart Park. The Easttown Roots Picnic included food, music, and other fun events. A barbecue truck was also there, but there was more to eat than just barbecue. There was plenty of soul food.
So soul food is, I guess, something that's been going on for generations. So that's one of the ways that we come together and show love for each other and love for our family, you know, just really cooking and then celebrating with the meal. And I think that can be cross cultures, right? Because I think everyone has a little bit of soul food, and maybe it's a little bit of different, but everyone has soul food.
Set Ranch organized the event. Well, this morning we're discussing helping the homeless.
Now, store manager Lisa Ludwig usually does the morning cleanup rounds, including spots that serve as a bathroom or a bed. Now, the company that is in Anchorage, Alaska has tried different things with mixed success, including putting large portions to make things a little more comfortable, large rocks out there to make things a little more uncomfortable for folks. But recently, co-owner Kenny Peterson decided it was time for a new approach. Instead of trying to run off the homeless people who frequent the area, he decided to get to know them instead.
At least once a week, Peterson crosses the street with the goal of building relationships with the people on the corner. Peterson wants to know their stories and their needs.
That brings us to our question for you this morning. How would you help the homeless population? Got another number of options out there. 29% of you say you'd donate some items. Another 29% say you'd help them with job opportunities. 14% of you say you'd help them help raise money, educate others, work at a shelter, or maybe something that's not on our list. So do make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and of course take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, that's a look at our top news stories. Coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News, a boy with brain cancer gets to be an FBI agent for a day.
Plus, Japan raises its age of consent from 13 to 16. We'll have the latest.
You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back. But first, here's a live look from downtown Pittsburgh in honor of 620 Day. Big celebration happening later this afternoon. Topping World Watch, a horrific scene in western Uganda, one of the deadliest attacks the country has seen. Police say extremist rebels linked to ISIS attacked a residential high school, killing at least 41 people and abducting 6 students before setting the school's dormitories on fire. Officials say many of the victims were killed with machetes, and the death toll could rise. The military is conducting a manhunt for the suspects. Video posted on social media on Monday shows columns of dense black smoke rising from a fire at Germany's largest theme park. There was no immediate word on what started the fire at Europa Park in the town of Rust. Smoke was visible for miles and visitors were evacuated. There were no reports of injuries. Witnesses report hearing a couple of loud bangs before the fire broke out. Rescuers from the U.S. and Canada are racing to find a small submarine that went missing at the bottom of the northern Atlantic. The U.S. Coast Guard has confirmed 5 people are on board the vessel, which explores the wreckage of the Titanic. Jared Hill has the latest on the search and what we're learning about the people on board.
The U.S. Coast Guard is leading the desperate multinational search for a submersible that disappeared deep into the North Atlantic Sunday. Officials say it lost communication about an hour and a half into its dive to explore the wreckage of the Titanic.
It is a challenge to conduct a search in that remote area. but we are deploying all available assets.
The minivan-sized vessel named Titan has enough oxygen to last for about 4 days. It's owned and operated by OceanGate, a company that takes tourists on deep-sea explorations for a $250,000 price tag. CBS Sunday Morning correspondent David Pogue got an up-close look at the watercraft over a year ago.
There is no radio and no GPS that works underwater. So you really are on your own when you're in this thing.
British billionaire and explorer Hamish Harding is believed to be among those on the mission, according to his recent social media posts and family members.
Hamish is larger than life.
Harding's friend, Jannica Mickelson, has gone on expeditions with him in the past. She says that she spoke with him before he left.
The last thing I said to him was Godspeed, and I wished him luck with his dive.
Reuters reports that the Pakistani businessman Shahzada Dawood and his son may also be on the mission, citing a statement from their family. Jared Hill, CBS News.
OceanGate said in a statement that its entire focus is on the crew members in the submersible and their families, and that the company is working toward the safe return of all crew members. Japan's parliament raises the country's age of sexual consent law from 13. The previous consent age of 13 years old had remained the law in Japan for over a century. It's considered one of the world's lowest age for it. The change was made following protests for greater protection for women and children. New scenarios were also enacted for consentless sex crimes such as assault under the influence of alcohol or drugs, fear or intimidation, and the banning of filming and sending out sexually exploitative content without permission. A dog in Brazil is safe after being rescued by a helicopter from flooding. The video shows the moment the dog and its owner were brought to the helicopter by the military brigade. Both were stranded in the middle of the flood in the municipality of Linfoldo Colar in the southern region of the country. The area has been heavily hit by extratropical cyclone in the past few days. At least 13 people have died and 4 are still missing. That's according to the state's Civil Defense Agency. 200,000 people are expected to attend England's Glastonbury Music and Arts Festival this week. Now a global juggernaut, the festival is unrecognizable from how it started back in 1971. And we're getting a fresh look at those humble beginnings with photos of the 71 festival that have gone unseen until now. Images were captured by British photographer Paul Miso, who was 26 at the time. He was working for film director Nicholas Roeg, who was making a documentary about counterculture. And the site of Julius Caesar's assassination in Rome is set to open to tourists for the first time. Largo Argentina Square is a large sunken square containing the ruins of 4 ancient temples. The archaeological site has been viewable from street level only, with members of the public barred from getting too close. And beginning today, visitors can use a newly built walkway to move through the site at ground level and see the structures up close. There are also 2 new exhibition areas displaying artifacts. Roman ruler Caesar was believed to have been killed in the square in 44 BC by a rival group of senators. And a new study reveals a duck-billed dinosaur roamed a remote part of Chile 72 million years ago. Remains of a species of herbivore dinosaur previously unknown in the southern hemisphere have been discovered in the Chilean Patagonia area. Scientists dubbed the dinosaur Gonkokin nanoi and say it weighed up to a ton and could grow as tall as 13 feet. In 2013, an exhibition led by the Chilean Antarctic Institute discovered fragments of yellowish bones at the bottom of the hillside, kicking off a decade-long investigation. More than 100 pieces were extracted. A team of scientists digitally reconstructed the skeleton, hoping to 3D print it to display it to the public. Very cool. That's a look at some of your biggest headlines from around the world. We'll be right back.
Professional service. GoPascal.com.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. Almost 5:48 now on this Tuesday morning across the 4 states. And we want to remind folks, especially in Delaware County, still have that heat advisory. It goes into effect at 1 o'clock this afternoon and runs until 9 this evening. Now, again, as we've been talking about, the National Weather Service in Tulsa putting out these heat advisories, not necessarily for significantly oppressive heat, but because there's still so many folks without power in this area and because there's a lot of cleanup to be done. And it's going to be just hot enough that without air conditioning and being out in the heat for so long and no place to cool down could make it a little dangerous. So make sure you're taking precautions and staying hydrated out there. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good. We've got clear skies out there and clear skies from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue just south of Pittsburgh. And from our camera at 7th and range line, we've got beautiful clear skies as we start to get a little more daylight. Still pretty mild though, 69 in Joplin, dew point humidity both up there a bit. So like yesterday, they're not going to be oppressive, but they're going to be up there enough that it's going to make it a little uncomfortable. So again, for those of us still doing cleanup in the area, even if you have a place to cool down, make sure you're still staying hydrated and taking precautions in the heat. 64 in Iola is one of the cool spots. 71 still Chanute, Neodesha, 70 in Parsons, 68 Pittsburgh, 69 Chatopa, Miami, Neosho, Carthage, and 67 in Lamar. So we get our morning started. We're looking at those sunny skies, warmer today. So we go into the mid 80s by late morning, and as we head into the afternoon, still some upper 80s out there, but a lot more of us getting into those lower 90s under sunny skies. We head into this evening, still staying pretty warm. Then we go into the overnight, still clear skies, another mild one as we go back into the upper 60s. Let's take a look at the week ahead. Tomorrow, first official day of summer, we've added a 10% chance of some isolated showers. The data still shows we could see a couple of showers in, say, Elk and Chautauqua County, but that's going to be about the furthest it reaches. However, it will leave the rest of us with partly to mostly cloudy skies. Still in the low 90s, though. Low 90s carry on as we head into the weekend. We've got some scattered thunderstorm chances. Chances aren't great right now, but any chances for more rain are fantastic, and of course we don't need any severe weather, so hopefully we can get some good much needed rain without strong winds, hail, or even a threat for tornadoes. We don't need any of that. We just need that rain. As we kick off the next work week, we stay into the low 90s, and we have additional thunderstorm chances by the middle of next week as well. We'll be back with more right after this, but first we get another live look from downtown Pittsburgh in honor of 620 Day, officially kicking off this afternoon. We'll be right back.
The FBI in St. Louis got a new special agent last week. Now, this is significant because this agent is a 10-year-old boy who has a rare form of brain cancer. Steve Harris has his heartwarming story.
At FBI headquarters this afternoon,
this is the FBI.
Things were tense.
We need you to come out now.
A rare item was stolen. The thief holed up inside this building. They tracked him down, and Junior Special Agent Drew Patchen flushed him out. His team entering the building and apprehending the suspect, who looked a lot like the Hamburglar. But it wasn't all beef patties he'd stolen. It was the Stanley Cup.
As you can see right next to them, they have repatriated the Stanley Cup here.
10-year-old Drew was diagnosed with a rare form of brain cancer in 2019 that doctors said was inoperable. But his family found a surgeon in Houston, Texas, who's going to operate. Until then, they're making memories with Drew and his 5-year-old brother, Tyler.
Both of the kids really enjoyed it today.
The FBI stepped up to help.
We're also a member of the surrounding community, and so, our employees having an opportunity to sponsor a family in the community in this way and really advocate for them and help them make positive memories while they can is really a special opportunity.
But that wasn't the only surprise.
Drew is interested in challenge coins, which are these hard coins that law enforcement and military give out.
They collected several hundred coins from agencies across the country to give to Drew and his brother.
The things that people are doing for Drew and for Tyler and our family just means so much to us. We, get to look at the positive side of what happens when someone gets cancer.
At the end of the day, Junior Special Agent Patchen got a reward. 2 plates of chocolate chip cookies.
If I eat all of these, it's going to be 12.
Hey, you can't fight crime on an empty stomach, now can you?
Pretty good crime fighter there, and we hope his surgery goes well and he makes a full recovery. We'll be right back. Well, check out this blended raptor family in Northern California. A baby red-tailed hawk was spotted in a bald eagle's nest in the Bay Area, cared for by a pair of eagles last month. Okay. Well, a photographer captured the incredible moment that the eagle brought the hawklet into its nest, likely as prey. And then a Sacramento-based professional wildlife photographer began making weekly trips to the nest, capturing how the bald eagles appeared to be feeding and caring for the hawklet, along with their own eaglet. The eaglet has been named Lola, and the hawklet, they're calling it Tuffy too. The nest location has not been disclosed for the bird's safety. Speaking of bald eagles, today is National American Eagle Day. The bald eagle serves as the national bird and the national animal in the United States. Although viewed as a symbol of freedom, the bald eagle was once on the brink of extinction. But in 2007, the species was removed from the list of endangered and threatened wildlife in the lower 48 states. To celebrate the bird of the USA, you can visit the American Eagle Foundation online to learn more about conservation efforts. And we're all in for a Talon Tuesday.
Well, we've got a hot Tuesday out there for us as we're going to see sunny skies as we go through the morning hours and warming up quickly. We go to the mid 80s as we head toward the late morning, and then we go into the afternoon. Some upper 80s out there, but a lot more lower 90-degree readings as we stay sunny and hot. So again, if you're continuing any cleanup efforts today, make sure you're taking precautions, staying hydrated out there, cooling off as you can. We stay sunny and then clear as we go into the overnights. Look at this, temperatures still pretty warm as we go into the evening, and we're still pretty mild tonight. Back into the upper 60s for our overnight lows. First day of summer, partly mostly cloudy, low 90s. Could see a stray shower or two in Elk and Chautauqua counties tomorrow afternoon. Otherwise, the rest of us dry. Low 90s heading into the weekend. Then we see more storm chances Saturday and Sunday. We'll be back with more right after this.
Right now at 6, storms slammed the city of Grove over the weekend, and now residents continue the process of digging out and cleaning up.
We got another hot and sunny day across the 4 states today, so if you are cleaning up, you need to make sure you're staying hydrated, taking precautions. We'll look at that forecast coming up.
And the city of Joplin celebrates Juneteenth in the park, complete with music, fun events, and soul food.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. Just after 6 o'clock. Just getting some information from the Public Service Company in Oklahoma that they are expecting power to be restored in the Veneta, Choteau, and Grove area by 5 o'clock tomorrow. But it's still going to be hot between now and then. And so that's some good news. At least they've got what their approximate time of power restoration is. But until then, there's still that heat advisory for Delaware County that officially kicks in at 1 o'clock today, runs through 9 this evening. Similar to yesterday, it's simply because it is going to be hot enough that without power, no place to cool down, and working out in the heat for so long, it's going to make it somewhat dangerous. So if you are cleaning up down there, make sure you take appropriate precautions and are making sure you're staying hydrated out there. So there's a look at that heat advisory, again, for Delaware County, parts of northeast Oklahoma. But the good news is Public Service Company of Oklahoma is saying they should have Choteau, Veneta, and Grove power restored by 5 o'clock tomorrow. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking pretty good so far. We've got clear skies from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. Our camera, 7th and Rangeline, clear skies out there, looking great. 67 in Joplin right now. A quick look at temperatures around the area. It is not bad, but warmer than yesterday. 67 Fort Scott, 65 Nevada, 67 Pittsburgh, up to 72 in Parsons, 69 Miami, 68 in Grove, and 67 in Neosho. And as we get our morning started, we're looking at those sunny skies and much warmer today, going into the mid 80s by late morning. Some upper 80s out there, but a lot more lower 90-degree readings expected under those sunny skies as we head into the afternoon. So even here where we have power, if you're doing any cleanup, again, make sure you're taking precautions and staying hydrated. We'll have another look at your forecast here in a few more minutes. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. Grove, Oklahoma continues to clean up from weekend storm damage. This is just south of Grove near Sailboat Bridge and Grand Lake Baptist Church. The National Weather Service issued a tornado warning there late Saturday night, but there were no reports of any touching down. However, strong winds brought down lots of trees and power lines, and hundreds of residents were without power for much of the day, with some still reporting outages. The Northeast Oklahoma Electric Cooperative says efforts to fully restore power could extend into the week. More than 144,000 people across Tulsa County, Oklahoma woke up without power on Monday after the same devastating weekend storm left behind a trail of damage. According to the Public Service Company of Oklahoma, this has been its largest response since the 2007 ice storm. That storm brought down trees and power lines across the city. Storm damage and severe weather seem like common threats to the 4 states, but experts say there are some steps you can take to protect and fortify your home. Consider upgrading your windows and your roof, and these are areas that are most vulnerable during not just a high wind event, but water as well. Consider your roof shingles. Different types of shingles can withstand potential storm damage better. Some insurance companies actually offer discounts if you upgrade to metal shingles. Keep your trees trimmed, especially around power lines, and consider steel gutters and downspouts. And finally, be aware of contractors who come into town right after a storm. Well, severe storms continue to wreak havoc across parts of the South, and multiple tornadoes have been reported in Mississippi. Meanwhile, other parts of the country are dealing with intense heat. Jared Hill has a look at the devastation and stories of survival.
Near total destruction in Moss Point, Mississippi.
Got downstairs in time to see the front of the building collapse.
Shannon Millett and Teresa Ducksworth were among the 8 people trapped in a local bank when the twister hit this historically black community in southern Mississippi.
Some of these houses have been here for 100 years.
Emergency responders say at least 100 structures were damaged or destroyed. Meanwhile, 2.5 hours north in Lewin, Mississippi, 1 person was killed and nearly 24 injured after another powerful tornado touched down overnight Sunday. In the daylight, you can see buildings on street after street flattened.
I was shocked to see everything like this here, all the devastation.
Other parts of the South are baking in intense heat. In Harrison County, Texas, storms knocked out power, leaving some with no way to cool off in 90-degree weather.
I don't think we realize how dangerous it is.
Cami Breedings says she's been without power since Thursday. In Fort Worth, the heat index hit 113 on Monday, and with triple digits expected again today, a warning from emergency responders.
Be aware of those warning signs that if you start to sweat like crazy, you start to have some muscle cramps, that's your body saying, okay, I'm done.
A word to the wise, as summer hasn't even officially started. Jared Hill, CBS News.
On Monday, parts of Texas like San Angelo and Laredo both recorded their hottest days ever on record. Forecasters are saying that Dallas will feel like 118 degrees today, and summer officially begins tomorrow. Well, don't forget, you can be the first to know about the day's weather with the KOAM Skywatch weather app. Get severe weather updates sent straight to your phone free of charge. It's available in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. The KOAM Skywatch weather app. Well, Juneteenth celebration also took place in Joplin's Ewart Park. The Easttown Roots picnic included food, music, and other fun events. Barbecue truck was also there, but there was more to eat than just barbecue. There was plenty of soul food.
So soul food is, I guess, something that's been going on for generations. So that's one of the ways that we come together and show love for each other and love for our family, you know, just really cooking and then celebrating with the meal. And I think that can be cross cultures, right? Because I think everyone has a little bit of soul food, and maybe it's a little bit of different, but everyone has soul food.
Set Ranch organized the event. That's a look at this morning's top stories and weather in our first 7 minutes. Coming up on the KOAM Morning News, a weekend mass shooting in St. Louis ends with the death of 1 young man and 11 other people injured. Now the community and community leaders respond. Plus, experts say a nationwide shortage of OBGYN doctors will only get worse following the Supreme Court decision to overturn Roe v. Wade. We take a look at how this decision has affected medical students and where they will practice. And Chris returns with another look at your forecast and just how long the 4 states can expect this heat to hang around. You're watching the KOAM Morning News. More real news in the morning. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Pittsburgh as the city gets ready for 620 Day. Topping Nation Watch this morning, a federal judge has ordered former President Trump and his co-defendant, Walt Nauta, to keep quiet about evidence given to the defense in the classified documents case. Trump pleaded not guilty last week to 37 counts. Prosecutors say he mishandled top secret documents after he left office and obstructed the investigation into the documents. Special counsel Jack Smith asked the judge to prevent Trump and Nauta from disclosing material presented in the discovery phase of the trial. The defendants did not oppose Smith's request. The judge specifically prohibited sharing discovery materials with the public, the media, or online without approval of the court. Well, people in Minneapolis are mourning the loss of 5 young women killed in a car accident. Funeral services were held Monday for the victims, who ranged in age from 17 to 20 years old. The accident happened Friday when police say the car they were traveling in was struck by a speeding vehicle that had ran a red light. People in the Minneapolis Muslim community say the women were shining stars of hope for the future. The women will be buried at the Garden of Eden Islamic Cemetery in Burnsville. The driver who hit them has been arrested. And a Pennsylvania community came together Monday to honor a state trooper killed in a gun battle over the holiday weekend. Corey residents joined family and friends of Jacques Roque Jr. for a procession for the late state trooper. Community members lined the streets as police escorted the hearse carrying Roque's body from Corey Airport to Bracken Funeral Home. Authorities say the 29-year-old was killed in a gunfight with Brandon Stein near the Lewistown Barracks in Winnetka County on Saturday. But according to reports, as many as 2,000 officers are expected to travel from across the state to attend his funeral. Politicians in St. Louis are calling for a combination of public safety improvements to reduce the risk of gun violence. This comes after a mass shooting erupted in a shared co-working office space in a downtown building over the weekend. 17-year-old is in custody, accused of fatally shooting another 17-year-old and injuring 11 people. Mark Maxwell has more on the response.
I often question why the police are not already in that area. We've had issues with the Airbnbs. We've had that, and it seems like every weekend there's something happening in the very same place.
Local leaders in St. Louis City and County are looking to crack down on pop-up violence at rental properties.
And until we can get our hands around the gun issue, it's going to continue. But I think that also we need to make sure that we hold parents accountable. 15 and 16-year-old kids don't need to be out in downtown in 1 and 2 and 3 o'clock in the morning. That's insane.
County Councilwoman Rita Hurd Days applauded a proposal from St. Louis Alderwoman Kara Spencer that could allow police to seize or safe harbor guns from people who don't have a concealed carry permit.
The idea in general, I think, is very good. And I think we have to be responsible for our own. We have to take care of our own. And that's one way I think that we can do that.
As local leaders look for solutions, Congresswoman Cori Bush pointed a finger of blame at Republicans in Jefferson City.
There's so much that can be done locally in our state house, our state assembly, that is not happening. Like, start that now.
She called on Republicans to put tougher gun laws on the books, but said this about police who would have to enforce them on the streets.
I don't believe that police should go around trying to stop people and trying to take guns from people. That is not, because we have enough problems with stop and frisk in this country, and so it can easily turn into something we do not want.
Our issue with some of the crime in our is mostly juvenile.
County Council Chair Shalonda Webb said the fight for public safety won't stop with one new law or one more arrest.
The solution is not going to come from a one and done conversation. It's not going to come from a knee-jerk reaction to another tragedy, but it's going to have to be continual involvement.
Federal Youth Handgun Safety Act prohibits minors from possessing a handgun or bullets, but Governor Mike Parson enacted a law that would threaten to sue the police if they attempt to partner with federal agencies to enforce federal gun laws. That's a look at some of today's top national stories. Here's Chris with a look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves another hot and sunny day across the area, and it's going to stay warm and mostly dry for a while, but there are some rain chances. We're going to take a look at that full forecast when the KOAM Morning News returns.
Well, this summer, a celebration like no other.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 6:17 now on this Tuesday morning. And we want to remind folks in Northeast Oklahoma, especially Delaware County, still have a heat advisory. It goes into effect at 1 o'clock today and runs through 9 this evening. And again, that is because not necessarily oppressive heat, but there's still so many folks without power. There's no place to cool down, and there's still a lot of cleanup work to do. So if you are outdoors or if you are without power, make sure you're taking appropriate precautions, dress coolly if you can, and stay hydrated out there. Now, the good news is Public Service Company of Oklahoma says they're hoping to have Choteau, Veneta, and Grove power restored by 5 o'clock tomorrow. So hopefully they can get that done, but between now and then, it's still going to be pretty darn hot. As we look at the MoDOT camera, 20th and Range Line, we're looking good so far. You can see the sun shining out there. We got clear skies, and the same from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just to the south of Pittsburgh, looking great as well. Our camera, 7th and Range Line. Clear skies out there, looking wonderful, but it's going to be hot again. We got 67 in Joplin right now. Dew point, humidity, both up there a bit, and similar to yesterday, it's going to be a little muggy, not overly so, but it will be a little bit muggy out there as you work into the afternoon. So again, those impacted by the storms over the weekend, if you're still doing cleanup, even if you're in an area with power, make sure you're taking time to cool off and that you're staying hydrated out there as well. 65 Nevada, 67 Fort Scott, low cooler Iola at 64, 72 now Neodesha and Parsons as a couple of the warmer spots. 69 Chetopa, Miami at 67 Neosho and Carthage. And as we get our morning started, we'll have those sunny skies. We're going to warm up quickly into the mid 80s by late morning. We're still looking at highs today, upper 80s, but we're looking at a lot more lower 90-degree readings out there today. So another hot one as we go into the low 90s. Sunny skies. We head into this evening, and it's another repeat of yesterday, really. We'll have clear skies. Warm though, 90 at 6, 84 by 8, 74 at 10. Overnight lows once again upper 60s out there near 70 under those mostly clear skies. Now we've talked about Elk and Chautauqua County, and they're really about the only opportunity for rain over the next several days. So we head into later today. Not looking at much. We head into tomorrow. If we were to zoom in on this map, Elk and Chautauqua counties could see a stray shower or two tomorrow afternoon. It wouldn't last very long, and that's really going to be about it. The rest of us, though, at least will get a little cloud cover. Still hot tomorrow, but at least a little break from the sunshine out there. And that's really our only rain chances until we head into the weekend. Now we get into late Friday or Friday afternoon, maybe a stray shower or two, but better chances start to build in as we head through our day on Saturday, and then we see another opportunity for some scattered showers and thunderstorms as we head into our Sunday. So hopefully we can get those, and hopefully we can get them without any severe weather. We just need the rain, not the severe weather. All right, so we've thrown in 10% chance for a stray shower or two tomorrow afternoon. Again, Elk, Chautauqua County, really about the only places that might see rain. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. And we're looking at low 90s. We'll go low 90s all the way into the weekend, and we've got those scattered thunderstorm chances, so we're keeping our fingers crossed for those. And of course, our warm days lead to mild evenings. We kick off the next work week. We're hanging out in the low 90s, which is good because, again, yesterday some of the long-range models suggested we could be pushing close to 100 in the next few days, and hopefully we don't. I'd like to just stay in the low 90s. It's going to be hot, low 90s or better. We'll be dry Monday and Tuesday, and then we've got some additional thunderstorm chances as we head toward the middle and end of next week. That's a check your forecast. We'll be back with Health Watch right after this.
Tegris Health, partnering with people to live healthier lives.
Topping Health Watch this morning, acupuncture and a drug called doxylamine pyridoxine can help pregnant women with moderate to severe nausea. Study published in the Annals of Internal Medicine finds either treatment is effective, but the combination of the two work the best. Researchers also say using just acupuncture alone is an attractive option for women who are hesitant to use drug treatments when pregnant. New research in Australia finds low-dose aspirin is associated with a 20% increased risk of anemia in older adults. Doctors recommend seniors taking aspirin monitor their blood iron levels. Millions of people take low-dose aspirin daily to prevent heart issues. And a happy childhood can lead to a healthy life. That's according to a new study published in Pediatrics that finds nurturing relationships and environments during childhood are linked to improved physical and mental health as adults. Researchers say parents and caregivers should try to limit stressful situations for children as much as possible before they reach adulthood. Well, the shortage of OBGYN doctors is expected to only get worse in the years ahead as medical students make decisions on what and where to practice based on a state's abortion laws. Janet Shamilian takes a look at what's changed since Roe v. Wade was overturned.
Erin Duffy is a third-year med student in Florida, but this is not where the future OBGYN wants to be a doctor.
Unless things change, it wouldn't be my first choice to practice here.
What about other restrictive states, Texas, elsewhere?
It's just not an environment I really want to be in.
Students like Duffy are increasingly steering clear of OBGYN residencies in states with abortion bans. Applicants in those states plummeted more than 10% since Roe v. Wade was overturned. Some are deciding to avoid the specialty altogether, worried about the ability to practice evidence-based medicine.
There's also the big concern of the possibility of being legally prosecuted.
He's coming in Thursday morning.
Dr. Nicole Scott is the director of the OBGYN residency program at Indiana University School of Medicine. Says she's already seen a drop in applications.
What I'm specifically worried about is the retention of those doctors once they're finished training and their practice after residency.
And that puts the health of all women at risk, as OBGYNs also screen for cancer, perform well woman exams, and prescribe contraception.
This really isn't just about abortion access.
Dr. Amelia Huntsberger was doing that in Idaho, where most abortions are banned.
It's very clear that Idaho is no longer a safe place to practice medicine.
The OBGYN is leaving for neighboring Oregon after her rural hospital closed its maternity unit, citing in part staffing and Idaho's political climate.
If I'm an OBGYN resident coming out of residency and I'm looking around at different options, why would I look at Idaho and say, oh, I really want to move there to the state where I could be charged with a felony for providing medical care?
Current doctors leaving and new ones practicing elsewhere, leading to labor pains in women's health care. Janet Shamlian, CBS News, Orlando.
That's a look at some of today's top health stories. You're watching the KOAM Morning News.
And we've got ourselves another hot and sunny day across the area. So for those of you still doing some cleanup work, make sure you're taking precautions, staying hydrated. We'll have another full look at that forecast, talk about some possible rain chances when the KOAM Morning News returns.
In Neosho, Pittsburgh, and Parsons.
Right now at 6:30, a car overturns after colliding with a U-Haul near the Oklahoma state line in Joplin.
We've got ourselves another sunny and hot day across the 4 states. There are some slight rain chances out there. Take a look at that forecast coming up.
And KOAM's Anthony Saviello takes us to Parsons, Kansas, where the community came together to celebrate Juneteenth and contemplate the deeper meaning and history of the holiday.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News. It is now 6:29. I'm Tanya Bach.
I'm Chris Warner. So we've got a pretty mild start to our Tuesday across the area, and it's going to be another hot and sunny day for us out there. So of course that poses problems of its own. Let's take a look. We've still got the heat advisory as we head into Delaware County. That'll kick in officially at 1 o'clock this afternoon, run through 9. As we've been mentioning all morning, it's simply because there's still so many folks without power. It means no air conditioning and a lot of cleanup work to be done, which means a lot of time in the heat. So make sure you're taking precautions, staying hydrated out there. The good news is Public Service Company of Oklahoma hoping to have power for Choteau, Veneta, and Grove restored by 5 o'clock tomorrow. MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, clear skies, sunny out there, and getting plenty of sunshine from the KDOT camera at 69 and 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, and beautiful blue skies from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. Sitting at 67 in Joplin, as mentioned, the dew point humidity up there just a bit, and like yesterday, they'll be up there just enough to make it somewhat uncomfortable outside. So even in the areas here where we have power, if you're still doing cleanup, same thing goes for you. Make sure you're staying hydrated, taking appropriate precautions. A little cooler up to the north now, a few more joining that 64 club. Stockton, Nevada, Fort Scott, Iola, all along the Highway 54 corridor, staying a little chillier. And we go to Neosho, Parsons, both at 72, 70 Chanute, 66 in Pittsburgh, 69 Miami, and 67 in Neosho. Now we get our morning started. Again, sunny skies out there, mid-80s by 11. Highs today, upper 80s, a few more lower 90-degree readings out there under those sunny skies, so staying quite hot, and we stay mild heading into the evening as well. We'll have those clear skies dropping back down into the upper 60s once again tonight. And as we head into tomorrow, the first official day of summer, maybe a stray shower or two, Elk, Chautauqua County. It still looks possible in the afternoon. The rest of us partly to mostly cloudy skies and still hot, low 90s. Low 90s carry on into the weekend, and then this Saturday and Sunday are first best chances for some rain out there over the next several days. So hopefully we can get some of that rain without any of the severe weather. Tanya?
All right, thanks, Chris. A car and a U-Haul collide near the Oklahoma state line in Joplin. Crash took place Monday night around 8:40. Authorities say a passenger car and a U-Haul, both traveling east on I-44, collided, and the U-Haul crashed into the median. The passenger car overturned in the right side ditch. No one required medical transport to a hospital. And authorities respond to reports of a two-vehicle crash along I-44 early Monday morning. Now, this crash took place in Jasper County near the Lawrence County line. Authorities say a passenger car struck the rear of a pickup truck, and the two became hooked together and could not be separated. Both of the drivers were transported to an area hospital suffering non-life-threatening injuries. Kansas Bureau of Investigation provided an update on the white powder found in letters sent to Kansas lawmakers and public officials. They say as of Sunday, around 100 letters containing suspicious white powder had been received across the state. On Friday, the known number was just over 30. A small sample of letters with powder was sent to a specialized laboratory for testing biological samples, and preliminary test results suggest the substance is not likely to be common biological agents of concern. But the investigation is ongoing. Juneteenth organization in Parsons, Kansas held its annual celebration to mark the holiday. KOAM's Anthony Saviello has the story.
Freedom! 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 Freedom!
Juneteenth is the annual celebration of the end of slavery in the United States. But for Santana Johnson, this day is about much more.
I just believe that if we can't have a community if there's no unity in it. So I just feel like it's very important that we come together and connect and make things work for the best of all of us. It's not just about black community, it's about all the community.
The event started here on 22nd Street and Grand. Organizers joined together and marched down to Glenwood Park, a demonstration of strength and unity. It's something that Amanda Phoenix is hoping to teach her daughter not to be afraid of.
I remember being her age and this stuff not being taught in our schools. And I remember that. Looking back, I remember that. So I want her to know, and I want all the kids her age, all the kids younger than her, all the kids older than her, I want them all to know the history behind Juneteenth and how important it is. So that way, when we build towards our future, we are coming together as a community.
Santana organized this year's celebration of Juneteenth alongside Amanda and partnered with organizations such as Moms Demand Action. But her biggest partner wasn't an organization. It was the people who rallied together. People like veteran Calvert Green.
Minorities have came to the cause of this country every conflict, from the Civil War all the way to the wars we fight today. But yet get very little credit. But when we come together today, we're recognizing them, what they have done for serving this country.
A hero standing up for other heroes and making sure that all are celebrated. So, the big takeaway, Juneteenth isn't just for certain people. It's for everyone. And every community. Reporting in Parsons, I'm Anthony Saviello, KOAM News.
The Juneteenth organization in Parsons invites all who are willing to take part in next year's celebration. Well, this morning we're discussing helping the homeless.
Businesses in Anchorage, Alaska say they're being challenged by a growing number of homeless people. Some businesses have added security or extra cleaning crews, but one longtime business owner is taking a slightly different approach.
Kenny Peterson, that's who you just saw there, co-owner of Allen and Peterson Cooking and Appliance Center, decided to get to know the homeless population in his community. Peterson says it comes down to mutual respect.
And he hopes other businesses will join him in essentially adopting street corners and taking care of the people who stay there. He's hoping they can form a network of resources aimed at helping people eventually get off the streets. And that brings us to our question for you this morning. How would you help the homeless population? You got a number of options out there. So far, 40% of you say you'd help them with some job opportunities, 20% of you for donating items, another 20% for raising funds, and a few other votes out there. So make sure you take time to vote through our website, through our app, and take part in the discussion on our Facebook page.
All right, thank you, Chris. That's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour in the KOAM Morning News. Summertime means summer crowds will soon flock to Branson, and the tourist destination has already seen an uptick in visitors.
And as we've mentioned, we've got another hot and sunny day across the 4 states. We'll take another look at that forecast when we come back. But first, here's a live look from downtown Pittsburgh in honor of 620 Day that's kicking off later today.
In Consumer Watch this morning, auto safety regulators have launched an investigation into nearly 40,000 Hyundai Ioniq 5 electric SUVs. This comes after 30 drivers complained of sudden power loss, with many reporting a loud popping noise and a warning on their dashboard. Hyundai says there may be a problem with a battery charging unit, and it plans to update the vehicle's software next month. Well, the world's largest air show is back in France for the first time in 4 years due to COVID. It launched with a historic sale. Indian airline Indigo and European aircraft maker Airbus reached a deal for roughly 500 jets. The week-long aerospace trade show will display new technologies coming to market, with thousands of jets up for order. This year, there is also focus on defense aviation. And for families looking to travel by train this summer, today is the last day for Amtrak's Kids Ride Free Flash Sale. Children ages 2 to 12 can get a free ticket with the purchase of at least one adult ticket, valid for travel Mondays through Thursdays between June 30th and the end of the summer. Families can use the offer for coach travel on most routes across the country, as well as sell a business travel. With summer officially just a day away, Branson hotels and vacation rentals are already seeing an uptick in visitors and vacationers. They say while staffing has improved, especially post-pandemic, it's something they hope will continue, so more people return season after season to the tourist mecca. Elizabeth Van Mitry has more.
Hi, how are ya? Good.
It's been a busy weekend.
You guys doing good today? Yeah? Good.
Savannah Snyder is executive housekeeper here at Thousand Hills Resort Hotel. This past weekend, the hotel was booked. The empty shelves showed just how much they need to do to turn over 400 rooms as the next bunch checks in.
Staff to us is our most important, and we would be devastated if we lost them.
Thousand Hills Resort says it's really focused on staff, not only to get them in, but to keep them. There are about 400 positions filled all over Danner Enterprises, which runs this hotel and others. 30 positions are open in total. It's a number the company is really proud of.
Hiring has been a challenge. A couple of years ago, it was more of a challenge than it is recently. We've gotten a lot smarter with how we are recruiting people.
The company has a job center, quick responses, a focus on culture to keep people coming back, and a new program a little more than a year old that helps find a fit for you in the company, even if it's not something you applied for.
You might apply for one position, but during the interview, we might say, hey, we have this other position that might fit you a little better.
Rosebud Hotel owner Mike Patel says he's about 7 staff members short of being fully staffed, better than last season when the hotel was 12 short.
Housekeeping is the mainly, even the front, we have a couple of employees that's doing the doubles and stuff like that. It is still difficult.
He says since it is family owned, it has to lean on family to do some of the jobs at the hotel. His high school sons have a summer job.
They always help us. They're probably doing their work of 3 or 4 employees by themselves.
Being staffed will change the experience for guests.
When you have the proper amount of staffing, and not just proper, but your employees are happy where they're at, then you see that in guest review. The guest review are up, your scores are up.
Housekeeping and laundry are still the most difficult to staff, but companies are using different techniques like a third-party vendor to fill in some of those vacancies. Hotels are also doing later check-in times like 4 or 5 o'clock, but allow guests to check out later. That's it for Consumer Watch. Here's Chris with another look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got ourselves another hot and sunny day across the region. We also want to remind folks that we do have that heat advisory going into effect at 1 o'clock this afternoon in Delaware County, running through 9. Again, not so much for the oppressive heat, but it's going to be hot enough. Those without power, without air conditioning, and those working outside are definitely going to need to take precautions. Make sure that you stay hydrated and stay as cool as you possibly can. Of course, that applies to everybody in the area, but especially those without a place to go and cool down. We'll have another check of that forecast, and we'll also talk about some possible rain chances a little later this week. It's also almost time for our daily celebration of birthdays and anniversaries, but before we get to that, why don't we take a trip on the mothership and see what's happening on CBS Mornings.
I'm Nate Burleson. Coming up on CBS Mornings, actors Adam Devine and Nina Dobrev will be here to talk about starring together in a new action comedy, The Outlaws. That's coming up on CBS Mornings.
All right, time for some Tuesday birthdays here in the 4 states. We begin in Columbus with Heaven Miller celebrating number 9. Happy birthday, Heaven.
Tiffany Hutto turning 33 years old this year in Columbus. Happy birthday, Tiffany.
And the party definitely in the bus as we've got Zach Evans. Well, I'm so sorry, this is Scott Sullivan. I skipped, but he's still in Columbus. Scott celebrating a birthday today. Happy birthday to Scott.
I was very confused there for a second. Okay, now we've got Zach Evans, who is 23 years old in Frontenac. Hope you have a wonderful birthday, Zach.
And he is Mike Evans' nephew. Mike Evans also celebrating a birthday today in Frontenac, turning the big 5-0. Says happy birthday, Mike and Zach, from your families.
All right. And Matt Rush is turning 35 years old. We like to call him Coach Rush in Pittsburgh. Happy birthday. Love Courtney, Matthew, Leah, and Sora.
And we've got Charity Burchett celebrating number 41 in Liberal. Happy birthday, Charity.
Kenny Krumsick turning another year wiser in Frontenac. Happy birthday.
And over in Oswego, Donald Richardson, some belated birthday wishes going out. His birthday was last Friday, turning 61. Happy birthday, Donald.
All right. Dylan and Lindsay Meisner are celebrating 2 years of wedded bliss. Their second anniversary was actually on Monday.
And another anniversary here, Brad and Rhonda Overstreet celebrating their 43rd anniversary. Says, we're still having fun because you're still the one. I love that from Rhonda.
Oh, that's sweet. All right, our birthday and anniversary list goes on. We've got Oasis Wade turning 13 years old. Welcome to the teenage years in Crestline, Kansas.
And in Lockwood, Florence Sparks celebrating number 94. Happy birthday to Florence.
Christy Murdoch celebrating birthday number 56 in Parsons.
And the party returns to the bus with Paul Westervelt celebrating a birthday today in Columbus. Happy birthday, Paul.
Kathy Layson in Columbus. Happy birthday to you.
And Sally Umpenauer celebrating another year wiser in Riverton. Happy birthday, Sally. And of course, we tell you every time, we love celebrating these birthdays and anniversaries. Tanya, how can they celebrate with us?
There's only one email to remember, but you got to remember to put the S on the end of birthdays. Send your birthdays and anniversaries and all the information and pictures to birthdays@KOAMnewsnow.com.
And of course, while you're on our website checking out the latest, greatest information that we have to offer, you need to make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club. It is easy to do. It's also free, which is great. And you get special deals from local businesses. You also get a special birthday message from your friends here at KOAM. So make sure you take time to sign up for the KOAM Birthday Club today. All right, even though our weather pattern is going to be calm for the next several days, still got some things that we do need to talk about. We're going to start with this heat advisory in northeast Oklahoma, including Delaware County. Kicks in at 1 today, runs until 9. And as we've mentioned all morning, it's not because the heat's expected to be oppressive, but it's going to be hot enough that those that are still without power are going to need to be making sure they're taking precautions, staying hydrated out there. And of course, if you're working on cleanup or recovery efforts, you need to make sure that you're taking appropriate precautions as well, because it's going to be toasty. The good news is Public Service Company of Oklahoma, as we've mentioned, is hoping to have power for Shoto, Veneta, and Grove restored by 5 o'clock tomorrow. But between now and then, it's a lot of heat to get through. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking good. Plenty of sunshine also on the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue. And look at this, perfectly clear skies out there at 7th and range line, 67 in Joplin, dew point at 63, humidity at 87. They're up there a bit, and it's going to be like that through the day, similar to yesterday. Not overly oppressive, but up there enough that it's going to be uncomfortable for sure. So even if you're in an area doing some cleanup that has air conditioning, make sure that you're taking breaks, staying cool, and staying hydrated today. 66, Fort Scott, Iola, 68, Yates Center, still warmer in Neodesha, Parsons, both at 72, 65, Nevada, some 66s in Lamar and Pittsburgh, 69, Chitopa and Miami. We get our morning started again, sunny skies out there today and much warmer. We go to the mid 80s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, upper 80s, but we're looking at more lower 90-degree readings today across the area under those sunny skies. We head into this evening, not much change other than as we go into the night, the sun sets, and instead of having sunny skies, we will have clear overnight skies, staying quite warm through the evening and mild this evening back into the upper 60s. So tomorrow, first official day of summer, low 90s, partly to mostly cloudy skies for most of us, but Elk, Chautauqua County, we've added a small chance, still showing some information. You could get a couple of stray showers. Unfortunately, it's not really going to add up to much, but at least it's a stray shower too. Low 90s hanging with us all the way into the weekend. And then we have slightly better thunderstorm chances as we go into Saturday and Sunday. Of course, we don't need severe weather, but any rain we can get would be great. Low 90s kicking off the next work week, and then a few more storm chances by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. Well, coming up when the KOAM Morning News switches over to Fox 14, we're going to take a look at the new film Asteroid City. Filmmaker Wes Anderson is at it again, this time with another ensemble cast of A-list actors in his trademark style and wit. This time set in the small rural town of Asteroid City. We've got a sneak preview for you, plus a whole lot more when the KOAM Morning News makes the move over to Fox 14 at 7 a.m.
Proud to salute Jackie Tremaine, a four-state hero.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. More than 144,000 people across Tulsa County, Oklahoma, woke up without power on Monday after a devastating weekend storm left behind a trail of damage. According to the Public Service Company of Oklahoma, this has been its largest response since the 2007 ice storm. That storm brought down trees and power lines across the city. A car and a U-Haul collide near the Oklahoma state line in Joplin. The crash took place Monday night around 8:40. Authorities say a passenger car and a U-Haul, both traveling east on I-44, collided. The U-Haul crashed into the median and the passenger car overturned in the right side ditch. No one required medical transport to a hospital. Four-staters rally to support one another as the nation celebrates Juneteenth, marking the day all Americans became aware that slavery had ended. On Monday, a community in Parsons, Kansas rallied together to walk and demonstrate unity. For the celebration organizer, Santana Johnson, the unity shown is an integral part of bringing awareness and action to issues that still face people every day. And a Juneteenth celebration also took place in Joplin's Ewart Park. The Easttown Roots picnic included food, music, and other fun events. A barbecue truck was also there, but there was more to eat than just barbecue. There was plenty of soul food. That's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door.
All right, got another hot and sunny day for us. A few more low 90s out there today under those sunny skies. We stay clear and warm heading into the evening, dropping back down once again into the upper 60s. And as we look ahead, first day of summer, could see a stray shower or two in Elk or Chautauqua County. Otherwise, partly to mostly cloudy skies. Low 90s heading into the weekend, and then a few more scattered storm chances by this weekend.
Well, coming up today at noon, we're making pickled Brussels sprouts in the Mr. Food Test Kitchen.
And your morning news continues on KOAM with CBS Mornings. The race to find a missing tourist submarine that has vanished during an expedition to the wreckage of the Titanic. That's next on CBS Mornings.
Or you can switch on over with us on Fox 14, where your only local morning news continues. And this morning, Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission is stopping by with a recipe for an easy peasy Dutch apple pie. You don't want to miss this one.
Plus, expect to see more vintage cars as the Great Race gets ready to roll through Joplin. Patrick Tuttle will roll through the studio in just a few minutes to tell us all about it. And that's going to wrap it up for us for now. We will see you back here tomorrow morning at 5 a.m.
And we're going to do it again today at noon.